Welcome, everyone, to Watch and Complain episode something point something.
Everyone act normal.
Everyone act normal. Welcome to episode Everyone Act Normal. This is some person we found on the street who also saw the Ghostbusters movie.
I snuck in the back.
And he wanted to give his opinion. He wanted like 10 minutes to discuss what he felt about the movie. It can hear you. You don't have to talk right now.
This is not going to be the same as everyone else. Like, I heard that a lot of people in the theater seem to like it, based on the reaction that I heard from the audience. But I really didn't like it. It was very predictable, and
you can go now.
And honestly,
tell us more about why it sucked.
They put Stay Puft in there just to merchandise it, and the jokes definitely didn't land. There were many jokes, and none of them just sat right with me.
None of them sat right with him.
The person that was with him didn't sit right with him.
You know what? I did as much as I... Now, how much talking did I do this? But I did as much as I could to keep my opinion to myself, didn't I? Or do you guys think that I advertised how I felt about it?
You so advertised it. I guarantee you advertised it. I don't want to go to this shit movie. Phil's making me go to this shit movie.
I think he just kind of laughed at parts where everyone else was crying.
I laughed when everyone else was crying.
Exactly.
I mean, I definitely laughed at the part where Melody faded away. Like, I also silently said to myself, "Wee."
So, on a scale of out of 10 Slimers, how many Slimers would you give it?
Pretend your dad isn't listening and
pretend
tell the
I'm
truth.
not listening. Yeah, here, I'll put my things in here. You can say whatever you want.
He's not listening. You can tell the truth now. He won't. He'll feed you tonight.
This man is a loser. Anyways, I give it a 2 Slimers out of 10. It was fun to watch, but you can watch it again, but it's not very good.
Can I take my fingers out of my ears yet?
No, I prefer you this way the whole night.
The whole thing. I'm gonna be like, what?
Huh?
He gave the same rating you're about to.
Probably.
Father and son.
Aw.
I'm biased, and we'll get there. But can you tell I'm biased?
Biased.
The buy part. Shilled. Being shilled to.
I don't know what you're talking about.
So, thank you, Dexter, for your insight.
Have a die.
What was your favorite part?
Yeah,
what
part did you think, hey, this is pretty cool?
The Fire Master part.
Oh, at the ending?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna.
But I did like the armor.
I hate you both so much.
He did like the armor. Whose armor? The Fire Master?
Yeah.
Or the
Nadim.
What was it? He was called Bukaku or something. I wanted to call
Graka?
You're getting too close to another word.
No. It was like Gymkata or
Gymkhana?
No,
that's a whole different
Korkaka.
Grakalaka.
It sounded like something else, like Baraka. He was called.
Like
He sounded like
Fighter?
Baraka. He was called Garaka, and I kept on wanting to call him Baraka.
Barack Obama.
Barack Obama. No, Baraka is from Street Fighter, I think.
Yeah.
Oh.
He was a guy
Obama.
with he was the one with the weird
Barack
monster
Obama
face,
was
but with the
behind
claws.
still.
Not
I
claws.
thought that was
but
Blanca.
you're thinking of the green guy.
Yeah.
This is another guy that is thinner and doesn't have the mohawk type hair, but is like a guy that has big monster claws, but not claws.
Did he
They're
have
like
the hands that
were like
stretched?
this.
That was Dalcine.
See, you're thinking of the arms that stretch, and that was Dalsim. Not to be confused with the guy from a different level who had these bamboo claws that stretched out. These were just normal hands that were he was like a little.
I am so much more interested in this conversation than Ghostbusters Frozen Wasteland.
What was
Well,
it called
thank you
again? I don't even
everyone
remember the title
for
of the
having
movie.
Dexter in our podcast for the start. Thank you, Phil, for allowing Dexter to be here. Should thank Phil.
You told me I couldn't.
You were allowed in the door. In Phil's defense, he got here while I was peacefully and calmly realizing
Yelling
that
at a piece of wood.
that the instructions were backwards. So I was like, oh my goodness, these are backwards. Before I begin the podcast, I believe I shall correct this.
That was a bad decision.
And then
I
what?
said fuck like 48 times.
If that.
I counted.
Dexter counted. All right, go talk to your Discord friends.
Okay.
Go tell them how bad your opinion on Ghostbusters is.
How wrong it is.
I'm gonna now correct it.
Protest. Stop Dexter.
Dexter will just be paused here.
Welcome to the adults only version of Watch and Complain episode 231. Ghostbusters
You spent
Frozen Empire.
so much money
I did.
on this movie.
I don't want to talk about it. I'm the frugal one. And I hate myself for this.
And it's funny.
Do you know how much this was alone?
Okay, hold on. I'll guess. I'm gonna say.
I've shown you the price.
I don't.
Okay, yeah,
I'm gonna say $25.
Yeah. And then if you get it with the combo while you're at it, you're paying an extra $10. And the combo itself would be like $15. So you're saving $5, but really you're paying
It looks
that
like
much for a tub.
It looks like it wouldn't hold a lot of popcorn. Like it would hold like.
No, I saw people with it, and so the key is to order this and ask for the bag separately, because otherwise they're just gonna throw it in here, and you're getting
like half what you normally would.
If a small
that.
popcorn,
Yeah.
and then you're messing up your tub as well. You got to wash your tub. You got to get your
So I
hand
didn't
in there
realize,
and wash it.
Was Slimer a person with what are they called? Not rabies. My goodness gracious, a albino because he's got red.
He has it in the movie too.
No.
Yeah. And I got these, which these were expensive too. So this was at Landmark. This was at Cineplex. This was at Cineplex. These were actually from the older, the better one. That's not true. Afterlife. And then this is just the Necto one that I have. I had the bigger one, but I had to return it because there was a chip of paint
Why don't
missing.
you get the Lego one? They've got an Ecto one
I
Lego.
don't, because then I have to collect more Lego, and I don't want to collect more Lego. It just seems out of place if I don't have a collection of things. I have a collection of different media.
What's
movie
funny
cards.
is the reason that I'm not making fun of all this trash is
Because you will anyway.
well, no. If you were to look at my office with all of my Star Wars toys that were out here before, but I moved it since into my office. I like, and it's funny. Even Karen brought up that you're gonna make fun of Phil for all this garbage. I'm like, I can't. That's like that's the glass house, absolute glass.
You
house
can't do it
throwing
on
stones.
camera, but you can do it off camera.
Off camera, exactly.
Now this is for you, your Star Wars, my Ghostbusters. Well, Jurassic Park's in that spot too.
Yeah,
and Sliders, Stargate,
sliders. I would watch any of those again. I would watch Jurassic Kingdom's Fallen Domination Rex, whatever the last one was called.
Wow.
100 times before this again. I will say, so we got in, our theater was packed, and this movie apparently made a lot of money on the weekend. So there's no accounting for taste.
Ours was
the first
packed
thing.
too. You went on Saturday?
Saturday, yeah.
And we went Sunday.
We had a group of kids behind us who were maybe a bit older than Dexter, I said like maybe 17, 18. And they were obnoxious as hell, which was adding to my frustration because I already disliked this movie. The girl and her friend beside me, this girl there must have been something wrong with her. She must have like ADHD or restless syndrome or something. She would not stop moving. And the whole time.
Moving in what way?
I think she had an itchy back, so she would recline the whole chair, right? Like because they have the reclined chairs. But then she would put her whole body forward. So imagine this when you're laying like this, whole body forward, messing with her back somehow, and then getting
Did
back
you look
into
back? Are you sure they're teenagers, right? They could be doing something else.
No, that was behind us. This is the girl beside me.
Oh,
Yeah, I looked at her a couple of times.
little kid.
No, I'd say she was about 17, 18 too. No, that's not true. Maybe about 20, like in the early 20s. But I think there was something wrong with her. Just by how she could not control it. It almost looked like she was having fits.
You wouldn't have this problem if you went into the premiere seats.
And the other worst part of it, well, no, because then I had both boys with me. So there's three of us.
They have three chairs
Oh,
in
really?
certain spots.
Oh, snap.
And one a theater, I think they have 3 chairs.
This girl and her friend must have bought their tickets a long time ago because her friend was sick as a dog and was blowing her nose, I want to say every 5 minutes. And it was like thick mucus blowing her nose. So this poor girl was sick as a dog.
You went to a great theater. My theater was quiet.
No.
And that was full.
There was this girl beside me thought some of the jokes were hilarious. And the Stay Puft Marshmallow things. Oh, I want one.
She's just an attention whore.
Yeah, basically.
Did you go AVX or IMAX?
No, I didn't pay for IMAX. We went to the fucking little chintz, might as well be a TV screen theater.
Okay.
Because
That's what we did anyway because of
I'm
Premiere.
I'm not spending money on this. But okay, you know what? I knew I was not going to enjoy myself, but I'm going to go in and fuck this. I'm going to go in.
I'm going to go in and fuck this.
I'm going to go in with the idea that, hey, something might make me laugh. I wanted to be positive. I was going with my sons. They were excited to go see it.
Yeah.
I think they were more excited to go see it because they knew I was going to hate it. So they were more like, hey, what's Dad going to bitch about? Or how long is Dad going to maintain his rage or you know, the whole fucking Dennis thing, keep his rage inside of him.
Also something that everyone's talking about right now.
And they were, I think they enjoyed a lot of it. You know, as much as I want to pretend that, you know, they're like me and they hate everything. I think they enjoyed a lot of it. So the opening, I will say this, the opening, hey, this is fun. We're back in 1900s, 1904.
Do you want me to start the synopsis?
God.
Or do you have a point?
We're watching the hook and ladder part, and then it goes to the, what are they called? Like the Fantastical Beasts Society or whatever. They're Wonderful People Society. I can't remember. They had a name.
The conference room?
Yeah, like Wondrous Products
Old school
Group.
conference
Yeah.
room. In July
1904.
You're right. In July 1904, New York City Fire Department firefighters find people frozen to death inside a gentleman's club.
That part was pretty neat. How I was like,
So, is this person wrong? Was the firehouse a gentleman's club?
no, they went to a gentleman's club.
Oh, this wasn't in the firehouse.
The movie starts with, because it's Hook and Ladder Company number 8, and it shows the fire truck coming out of it going to.
Oh, I missed that. Okay. So, like, I went.
There's another thing that irritates me. You fucking love this franchise. And I'm
ADHD.
explaining to
That's
you
weird.
how it all works.
It's weird because, like, in my brain, it went, oh, firehouse, and then it's probably because I was dealing with my son at the time because
What did he think
something was happening. He enjoyed it,
Okay.
but
Something was happening.
It went from firehouse, yeah, cool, and then it went straight into the scene of whatever, and I thought, oh, this is happening in the firehouse. Why are the firemen? Well, the
okay.
firemen are coming up the steps to the
Right.
next floor, I guess.
And then he's like, it's ice cold. And then he smacks it and everyone's frozen. And I was like,
Despite the extreme heat outside, while a strange chant in extinct languages plays from a phonograph and signs that a supernatural activity had occurred are everywhere in the room.
you
That
know what
was
the
said
best
wrong.
part? You know what the best part about that phonograph playing that thing was? Hey, no one's heard this language in thousands of years, except for when they played it in 1904.
Yes, but it's the general idea because these guys, they research these things and then have weird parties involving metal-clad strippers.
I imagine
The only survivor is a woman in a suit of armor clutching a mysterious orb.
the fire keeper. What was she called? The fire
Something
saver,
like that, yeah.
fire starter, something like that. Fire holder. But you know what? That part happened, and I was like, all right, like this is not terrible.
It's a
And
start.
I'm like, oh. And I hadn't looked at my watch yet. I'm like, this ain't terrible. And then as soon as that Ecto-1 comes busting out of that fucking door,
So no more to say about that scene?
no. That was fine. That was fine. Because it wasn't Ghostbusters, but it was it was like the cartoon Ghostbusters. It was like a good, what do they call that? The grab or the hitch or something. They call it like that little thing at the start of the show.
Oh.
The hook or something like that.
No, the hook is when you need to end a scene and you pull people away from that.
It has a name, but I can't remember.
Clincher?
I don't know. But the point is, I was like, okay, I'm interested to see what is going to happen from that.
It might be the hook.
And then, yeah.
In the present day, Callie Spangler, her boyfriend Gary Gruberson, and her children Trevor and Phoebe have taken up residence in the New York firehouse. Firehouse. I said it. While Trevor and Phoebe's old friends podcast Lucky, they didn't even talk about it.
No, you don't run into Podcast and Lucky until later on.
After
Podcast
catching the Hell's
and
Catch.
Lucky.
So okay, explain the scene.
So they're in the Ecto one, and there's a ghost. It's a dragon ghost. You're like, okay. And it was in a...
It's got to be something.
It was in like the Mandarin. It was in a... what did they say? Was it like a Chinese food place or something?
Hell's Kitchen.
Hell's Kitchen. That's what it was.
It's not a
Hell's
Chinese-
Kitchen.
It's where Gordon Ramsay he owns
right.
the
I
place.
forgot.
It's in
He's
Hell's
got
Kitchen.
This ghost that
Hell's Kitchen, New York.
it was kicked out of
It's
season
from the
1
sewers
because it's
of
not
Hell's Kitchen.
It can't direct on the line. But okay, they're like, oh, there's that ghost. Man, who are you going to call? Oh, you're my kids. You're my kids, and you want to drive a car. I sure wish I could drive the car. I am a genius. So as soon as they all started talking, I was like, oh my God. And then I realized it had been, the movie started at 9:35. 7:35. And it was 7:47. It had been 12 minutes. And I was like, holy fuck, this is going to be hard. Because this scene sets up the rest of the movie in that Finn Blowjob is going to be there's nothing for me to do. There is nothing for him
He's
to
got
do.
nothing.
So
Again,
he's just like, hey,
it's like the corporate was like, we need to put this character from Stranger Things in here just to get the
Exactly.
stuff. But the director and or producers at the time were like, hard no.
There's nothing.
And but then they were like, fine, and then they just give them crap.
Well, you know what they
This
were doing?
had
They're like,
nothing.
okay, Slimer has to show up. Okay, I guess he finds Slimer.
Throw him a bone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the whole movie, he was like, man, I sure wish I could drive. Okay.
That's it.
And then the other one,
And it was just one comment about it.
yeah.
And
But
then
it just
came
went on
back
for the
at
whole
end.
movie.
Yeah.
Also, like, look, man, I understand that they're child actors. I'm not gonna bash their acting ability because what child? But there was one good child actor.
Phoebe.
No.
Phoebe's awesome. How are you
You-
watching the same movie?
You are a high person. The best child actor in history was Jodie Foster.
Oh no, I'm talking about in this movie.
I would rather watch paint dry on a hot day than ever watch any of these children again. Like I said, I don't want to be mean, but she is possibly the most obnoxious actress I've ever watched.
You don't like
in
her
my
style
fucking-
because you don't like that acting style in general.
I don't like. Okay,
She
has,
is like a Kit Notaro. She is like a.
what the fuck
she's
is
got
Kit
that.
Notaro? I don't know what that is. Navarro. No, Kit Navarro, the comedian.
Oh, sorry, I said.
Holy fuck! No wonder I know what the fuck
Close
he's
enough.
talking about.
Close enough.
Maybe I'm wrong. Oh, I'm pretty sure it's. I'm sure it's Tig Notaro.
It's close enough.
Fuck! It's close enough.
Tit
Tits-
Kataros.
Tits katana. Tit katanas. They throw katanas out of their tits. But the whole. Oh my fuck! She made me want to tear my eyes out of my head. She is so indescribably obnoxious. It was.
She's a teenager.
And that's what I mean. That's why I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna fucking like the anger in Inside Out, the fucking top of my head blow off.
Do you know she's British?
I don't care.
Whatever.
But I tell you what she does need to do is go for some acting lessons. But she
Oh.
was
I disagree.
awful. Every single actor in this movie is either they're getting paid or
They're all
they
getting
don't know how
paid,
to act.
or else
But-
they wouldn't be there.
Oh, there's a couple of actors who are getting paid.
I know.
But holy moly. Yeah, she was unbelievably bad. I could not. I remember her, and it was funny. I remember her being super obnoxious and bad in the first one. But this one, they make her such the crux of the story.
I don't think that she's bad. I just think it's horrible direction.
Ooh, she's a bad because she's the whole time.
No, I disagree. What?
That's all she does.
No.
Whole movie.
Disagree. I'm gonna disagree so much.
Every time you disagree, that's what I'm gonna fucking do, like Phoebe does.
After catching the Hell's Kitchen sewer dragon, following a day. Okay,
hold on.
The
Wait,
chase.
wait,
The
wait.
chase.
There's a drone on top of the car, and you're like,
Do you see the issue with the drone?
no.
Okay, so I don't know if it's an issue. We can talk about it in terms of tech.
In our science part,
Yeah. Okay. This drone is a trap with propellers, right?
Yep.
The trap opens on both sides. Did you notice that? It has it has opening flaps on both sides.
No, I didn't notice.
So I'm like, once it's in there, how do you? I know I'm being way too.
I tried to not be this. I tried to be like, it's a movie. It's a Ghostbusters movie.
I'm just like, you take this drone. Is it?
Oh no, sorry. Before the drone,
Where does it go from the drone?
Before the drone, it's the race car, the RC car that can go
That's a
500
whole
miles an
other
hour.
issue. Because it's like, I was watching the kind of funny not podcast, but their Ghostbusters in review. One thing
I haven't watched any review because I didn't want anything to influence.
it
how I
helps me
felt.
get my brain working somewhat. They mentioned how you have this RC car, but why would you even use the RC car to begin with if you have a drone that goes everywhere?
I imagine the only thing I can imagine is maybe if they were like, "Wow, that Hot Wheels brand RC car sure is fast." Like there was no reason.
That would work. If Jada,
What's a
Jada, who the company who makes these toys,
Okay.
they're not toys, they're collectibles. If they made an RC car, I'm gonna have to pick it up.
What
I
if
mean,
what
they
if
do
only
make
it
RC
in
cars,
Lego?
but I mean, like if they
Do the
made,
doors open? Oh, they do too.
if they made the traps,
What if they only make it in Lego?
then no. Lego is for kids, Rob.
Also, I can't open this door.
It opens. It's just stiff.
Okay. The back should open.
There's more detail on the bigger one, which I had to return.
If I complain about every single album in this movie I want to complain about, we're going to be here for 9 hours.
After catching the Hell's Kitchen sewer dragon, following a dangerous chase downtown, the team faces public backlash and threats from
Mayor Peck.
Walter Peck, a longtime opponent of the Ghostbusters, now elected mayor.
So I will say, thanks to Paul Rudd, this scene is marginally better. And when I say margin, I mean like hairs width marginally better than the 2016 one.
Paul
with the
Rudd
mayor.
should be one of those actors that you hate.
You know what? Paul
Which is
Rudd
weird.
has, and he sucks in this movie. He's getting paid in this movie. He does his best, and he is a insanely charismatic guy. You can't hate him. Sometimes you want to, and you
I know.
can't.
Like-
He's just too goddamn charismatic, man.
What's that movie we both love that he's in it?
Charisma Man?
Nope.
The man who fell from the Charisma Island.
Role players. That's
Role
not-
players.
That's not what it's called. But
Role players.
It's about role play
Yeah, role players.
in a dungeon. No, it's not.
Yeah,
it.
dungeon role players. You're thinking about Chris Pine in
The
Dungeons and Dragons.
LARPers. The live action role play people. He's in the movie with another guy and two kids.
Oh shit. Yeah. I know the movie.
Role models.
Role models. That's
That's
what
it.
it is. I love
I was
him in that.
almost there.
He is a wonderfully funny and charismatic and just really, really comical guy. He could not save this movie. Nobody could, but he's trying his best. And in this scene, he's so neutered with what he's allowed to say because we couldn't swear. It's a PG movie.
Which is funny because they make sex dungeon jokes.
But it's better than the 2016 version. That ad-libbing in the 2016 one was, I wanted to put a nail through my head. It was awful. This one, the ad-libbing is bad, but at least they've got the charisma.
I think it's written ad-libbing. It's not real ad-libbing.
But it's like, hey, I've got this idea. yeah, we're destroying the city.
Play with it.
Play with it. Yeah.
I don't know if he
But
was allowed to play with it.
It did not go the route of the 2016 one, but that scene was. So he's like, "Hey, Peck." I love that Peck says some shit that is makes perfect sense. So you
you can understand what he's saying.
I had
It's
no
coming out a
problem.
little garbled.
I had no problem with it,
Okay.
but how he goes, so you're a minor, and that means you're not allowed to work. That's child labor. Oh no, well we don't pay her.
But she's how old?
15.
Okay, that makes sense. I thought she was 17 for a minute.
No, 15. He's 17. Finn Blowjob. He's 17.
I thought he was 18.
Nope, 17. So she's and they're like, oh, you know, and she's, oh, you're a kid genius, and you think just because you're Egon Spengler's daughter and blah blah blah. I'm like, or granddaughter. I'm like, when the fuck did Egon ever matter? Like, when was Egon
He hated the Ghostbusters so much that he was like anal about it.
right? But he had nothing against Egon.
No, he had a thing against the Ghostbusters, so he's going to have.
But they make Egon this demigod in this story for this family. They're like, just because you're a Spengler doesn't mean that you can spangle Spenglers. And I'm like, when the fuck did the Spenglers become the Christs of the fucking Ghostbusters universe?
I think it's just an outsider view, though. It's not their insider view.
I don't think so.
It's not like Ray Stantz came up and said that. Like, no. But yes, Egon is known for being the what do you call it when like he's standoffish. He's to himself.
Well, he was the smart one. He was the one who designed everything.
He seems ignorant, not ignorant, but like.
No, if you were to argue, if you want to put it into like real, easy to understand terms, he's the autistic one of the group.
He seems cold.
He has no emotional availability.
Exactly.
And he is entirely focused on what he's doing.
An outsider would feel that way. Would immediately put him as the bad guy of the group.
Okay, but why sit there going, just because you're Egon Spengler's granddaughter doesn't mean you can blah, blah, blah. What the fuck does that have to do with anything? And then he's like, oh, she's not my daughter. I'm dating her mother. I'm not father figure. Where's her father? I don't know. Also, she's super smart. Also,
Well,
you're grounded.
He couldn't have a backbone in that situation because he
And then
couldn't be that yet.
Finn Blowjob is like, I'm not allowed to drive. I have my license, but can't drive.
It's
And
like
then-
Finn got
And then
to
Phoebe
ad-lib.
goes, and walks away, still upset. And this, yeah,
I'm taking this
that
personally.
movie or that scene, I was like, oh, God damn it, I know the movie I'm in for.
To appease to appease his role. No.
To appease his role.
To appease Peck, Callie suspends the rebellious teenage Phoebe from field from the. Oh my God, you're distracting me. That's the problem.
Oh yeah, it's my fault, not the shitty fucking synopsis's fault.
From the field until she is legal. And okay, you're really
Until she's legal.
This is my ADHD going like distraction while I'm reading. Until she is a legal adult, while Gary struggles with
Until
his.
she's legal.
Well, Peck is a weird guy.
Peck.
Gary struggles with his role as the children's father figure and sharing Callie's fear that Phoebe would get hurt. While her family are out, Phoebe meets and befriends a ghost named Melody. Oh my God.
So
okay.
this part, I was like, okay. She's walking. Also, my favorite in the start is.
You thought it was someone else first.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
I 100% thought it was going to be
that was
Ramis.
That was the idea.
But what I liked was she in the start they're like, oh, we've got to get the Hell's water dragon, Rhea the last dragon. They're like, but it's rush hour. I have been in rush hour, and a lot of other people have as well. There's nothing special about me. I have been in rush hour in New York. That ain't rush hour in New York.
No,
in rush hour in New York, you're sitting in your car for 1 hour and a half.
That was tame.
But there's
no
one,
cars there.
There's one scene where they're going down the front later on when the lion is jumping around. There's 3 cars on the street. Like, dude, there's never 3 cars on the street at any time of the fucking day in New York, ever. But she's like, oh, I guess I'll go for a walk. You know, I'm a 15-year-old white girl. I can go for a walk by myself.
In New York.
Late night in New York.
Yeah.
No problem. And then sits down at a chess thing where there's no prostitution or drug sales going on.
That's the famous place to play chess.
Oh, right, yeah.
At 9 o'clock and 10 o'clock at night. Who
I
knows?
figured it was like midnight.
Well, it depends on time zones and.
But then I believe,
Daylight
were
savings time.
the pieces already there? Or did she take them out of her pocket?
I think she took them out.
Yeah, I had this recollection that
I
she
think
took
you're
them out of her
supposed to
pocket.
bring your own. Yeah.
Which again raises the idea. I assume she went there to play chess with the ghost.
The idea was in my idea.
In your idea, you wrote the movie.
In my thought process is that she goes there as like kind of like an homage. Like I'm going to set this up, and then maybe hopefully my dead grandfather will come back and play chess with me because it's a hopeful thing as a kid, you know, like
Yeah,
in,
tell you
in
how many
normal
times
reality.
I've said to myself,
Yeah.
I wish my dead grandpa would come back and play chess with me,
Well, your mom.
or my dead mom. That's
Wouldn't
right.
that be nice?
And I'd be like, oh fuck, mom's here. I got to get the broom and the dustpan
So-
and clean it all up.
When they showed the
If my mom showed up as a ghost, the only thing she would show up as a ghost to do would be complain that, oh, when I die, I guess you can have that couch, and to complain that her friends' kids were better than me.
Rob, why are you making fun of the old people in the cinema?
I mean, some people like the movie. I know you did. Some people. I mean, I could like it.
I used to date Harold.
Harold Ramis might be your father.
Not that Harold.
What?
Harold.
Who the fuck is Harold? Ramis?
No.
Who the fuck's Harold?
The person we make fun of at the theater all the
Oh,
time
yeah.
because he's dead. That's awful to say, but you know.
May you come back as a ghost. Maybe that was the ghost she was trying to play chess with.
So she was trying to play chess with her grandfather.
This fucking movie
And then it
melted my
turns-
fucking brain.
turns out to be some woman who got
Melody.
melted.
Meltedy.
Melted.
So
Yep.
Melody
I'm waiting for this one.
got killed
Not
in a fire.
unless it was a arsonist fire.
Well, how'd she die?
If it was just a normal fire, you wouldn't get killed. You just happen to die there. Because there's no killing involved.
When
Unless you consider the fire purposely killing someone. The act of killing.
So she died in a fire. She was not killed by the fire.
Thank you.
Mr. Semantics over here. She did not die. She was not killed by the fire.
20,
Same as
20 minutes
when
of
you don't get shot by a gun, you get killed by the bullet. No, other way around. I'm sorry. You die by the bullet. You don't get killed by the gun.
well, dying by something is different from being killed by something.
She would. How?
Because you're dying, you're not being killed. It's the action of being killed, not the action of being died.
So she died in a fire.
It's something I can be right on, so I'm enjoying
Did they
it.
ever talk about what caused the fire? When?
I don't know. All I remember is a fire. She got burnt. But she didn't feel it.
Beep, beep. She died of smoke inhalation. That's why she wasn't a charred corpse, because she didn't get burned. She died of the smoke inhalation. That's why she was
Not
normal.
necessarily true.
That's what she said to
okay.
Phoebe.
Okay, sorry. I didn't.
You weren't paying attention because you knew I would.
I was looking to ghost boobs, so
And she, for
I
some
was
reason, says,
wondering
"Oh
if she
yeah,
was raised ghost.
I can't pass over," or something. There's so much in this movie that happens that you just go, or something.
Is like a third of a story and just never goes past that.
Yep.
So much in this movie.
Also, when you think of a movie where, think of a movie like Heat, where there's this one scene.
Can we do something that anyone who's watching this might know?
'Kay,
Instead of the 80-year-old viewers out there that are not going to turn into our
Think
podcast?
of Silence of the Lambs. Is that?
Okay,
is that
sure.
one?
No, it's not actually. Millennials never watch Silence of the
Think
Lambs.
of. Oh, I know one. Think of
I'm just having fun.
Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones. In Game of Thrones, if you have to,
I prefer Shogun.
oh no, that's not a good example. My point is, Phoebe
Minions.
is a dedicated, balls out. This is all she wants to do. Ghostbuster.
Yes.
Phoebe goes sits down to play
Poltergeist
chess,
chess. Yeah,
polter chess,
Yeah.
and she sees a ghost.
Yes.
What is the first thing?
She's used to it. Plus, she's hoping
Why
for
wouldn't she
a
want to
different
bust
ghost.
the fucking ghost?
Because she's hoping for her grandfather, and at first it was just a ghost.
Okay,
She
that's
didn't
not
know who
my
it was
grandfather. It's a ghost. I'm a Ghostbuster.
But then when another ghost shows up, you can see that she's deflated because it's not her grandfather. So then she's like, whatever.
I guess I'll just fucking not do my job.
It's not her job then. She's not working as a Ghostbuster.
Of course,
But then she...
Just like, when Steve Jobs, when they said to him, listen, you're not, and I hate that I'm using Steve Jobs.
Steve Jobs is a horrible example
But
of this.
they're like,
Why don't
hey,
we
you
go
know
to-
what? You can't make this next computer. That company failed. Oh, well, I guess I have no interest in doing this anymore. I don't want to do it because I've got one roadblock. No, forget it. Never do anything else.
If a computer started talking to Steve Jobs, he wouldn't throw it against the wall.
He did.
That was a horrible
Don't you remember
example.
when he did? When he brought up the Macintosh, So this is when he started. I hate that I know this. When he did his first like Apple event, they had the MIDI card that was in the I can't remember which version of Macintosh. I think it was Macintosh 2. Was able to speak and able to make like sounds, right? They could play music. And he had it go, and now a man who has been like a father to me, Steve Jobs. And, woo, woo, the computer talked. And then he comes out and whatever. The point is, she's there with a ghost, and she doesn't bust the fucking ghost. Instead, Melody pulls out a book of matches. I don't know how she's holding a book of matches.
How is she touching the chess pieces?
Opens
Ghosts
the
can touch
match,
things.
strikes one match.
Slimer can pick up
Why does she strike the match?
because she's playing with fire. She's made out of fire. Ghost fire, but
So she strikes a match to say fire?
she's just playing. She can do whatever she
What
wants.
does she do
She's
with
a
the
ghost.
match
Is
once
she gonna
it burns
die?
out?
No.
Just drop it. More litter in New York.
What does Slimer do
And then she disappears.
with a hot dog after he eats it?
And then,
What happens? You tell me.
why does he have a whole ton of food up there?
What
How much
hap-
money are they making?
What happens to food when Slimer eats it? This is going to be a whole contentious point for me.
Well, that's why he has.
Okay, what
ass.
happens to food as soon as it goes in its mouth?
It's supposed to drop through him.
Exactly.
Did it do that in this movie?
Yes.
Okay, I was not paying
So
attention.
the point is he can pick up things and it can go right past them. So your point of like, why is she picking up a book of matches?
Not why is she picking up. Why is she striking the match? Why? What?
Why not?
Why not? That sounds like the entire fucking plot, the entire narrative thrust of this movie. Hey, why not? So who cares? She goes back to the.
That's what I'm
thing,
going to say to you for every point. Why not?
And Finn Blowjob is there, and he's like, "Hey, there's a noise. I'm gonna fuel my greatness."
While her family are out, Phoebe meets and befriends a ghost named Melody who died in a fire with her own family when she was 16 years old and is not able to rest in peace. We go on to the next scene. Ray and Podcast have been collecting cursed objects at Ray's occult book.
This kid was nearly as obnoxious as Phoebe. Thankfully, he wasn't in the movie very often. But holy shit! Come on, dude. This podcast guy is fucking. He's the comic relief. I get it, but he's so unfunny.
He's like millennial comic relief.
He's just. The movie was brutalizingly
Wait,
unfunny.
what's before millennial?
No, I can't remember. I'm not a
We're
boomer.
gonna get into this.
We go into this every time. I'm gonna get a sign. I'm gonna get a fucking picture that we can put up there that reminds us what we
A
are.
poster that says all the,
That I can't read because it's too far
and
away.
we'll have to have like gaps at the bottom so that we can add it each time we get past another 10 years or whatever era.
But yeah, so podcast and him collect books. I
Are
guess?
doing
I
a
don't know.
YouTube podcast
Oh,
about
right.
it's,
Haunted things.
it's basically like those.
So this old lady is like, it beeps, and it's my husband beeping it. I'm like, there's room for a joke here. I think I know the joke that's coming. The alarm's going to go off, flashing 12 on the watch. Flashing 12 on the watch, and that'll be the joke that it's flashing 12 on the watch. I'll put it on.
No, just
That is flashing 12.
put it in his mouth.
How do you put it on?
You have to put it under your shirt.
Is it? Oh, what is it?
Ah.
But so I thought
I just put it
it's
here.
gonna flash 12, and it's like, hey, that's the alarm, and that's the joke, right? But no, they never even bother with such
They didn't do
a
anything with it.
low-hanging fruit joke. They didn't
It's just
bother
like,
with it.
the joke is not haunted.
The joke is
Fuck you.
Oh, it's not
break the thing.
smash.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what isn't?
First of all, that's really mean.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
also wouldn't this old lady like cry and sue them? And
You would think that they have her sign something beforehand.
but then everybody else saw
She would have seen it, yeah.
podcast break. So are they okay with their stuff getting broke?
Yes. It's a podcast. It's a. Why are they there?
So do they
know this
they
is
only
happening.
hear the thing get broke on
No,
the podcast?
they-
It's not visual, like, or do they
They've
have a camera?
seen the video before.
Do you
And that's why
understand
they come in.
Why I'm going into so much detail about this?
Because you hate it.
I hate it.
But that makes it fun.
Oh yeah, I was having a ball.
We do this podcast because it's fun to complain about things. If we weren't complaining about movies and TV shows, we'd be having failed marriages.
This podcast is going to be 800 hours long.
Ray and podcasts have been collecting cursed objects at Ray's occult bookshop. One patron, Nadim Razmati,
Poor Kumail Nanjiani.
sells Ray the orb that once belonged to his late grandmother. When Ray tests its PKE levels, the orb unleashes a psychic change. A psychic charge damages the.
Yep.
The orb unleashes a psychic charge, damages the wall around the firehouse. Whatever. And read that.
I'll do it.
The orb unleashes.
When Ray tests its PKE levels, the orb unleashes a psychic charge that damages the walls around the firehouse's ecto-containment unit,
Okay, that sounded
which is
right.
dangerously close to capacity after 40 years. Wow, that sure was hard. The point is, this is where we get Kingston's own Dan Aykroyd. I fucking hate Dan Aykroyd. I can't stand the guy.
I'm so close to leaving right now.
He strikes me as an awful, awful man. He believes in all this garbage, and look, dude, you want to believe in this crap? Fine, go ahead and believe in it. But he tries so hard. He is you know what? Maybe I don't hate Dan Aykroyd. I hate Dan Aykroyd. He's so
You just
obviously
doubled down there.
the thrust behind this that he's like, oh my goodness, it's ecto containment grabbables levels.
He writes the script.
It's so stupid. And he's like, oh, it almost destroyed and things blow up and shit. And then they cut to another scene where something ghostbusting. And then when they cut back, this thing like froze his entire, that it broke the glass and it's all frozen. And now it's just somewhere like, what about the part where you were like, holy shit, this thing super frosty and whatnot? How did you pick it up? What did you pick it up with? Where did you put it? How did you transport it? Did you look
I think
it
it
up?
shows later that he's transporting it with something.
No, that's when they're picking it up, when they're at the
Yeah, so
Winston's
you would think they
location.
would have brought it.
How did they get it? How did Ray pick it up and bring it to them?
You would think he'd call in someone to come grab it with something.
I would like to watch that because Ray is so super specific about shit like this. Think of even the terrible Ghostbusters 2.
And then how
Okay.
did he pick it up in the first place?
Think
All of a sudden, cold.
Think of Ghostbusters 2 with the slime, right? They're talking about, hey, if you positively charge the slime, it's happy slime. So then they're like, okay. So they get a sample of the slime from the slime river. They put it into a container. They transport that container back. They take, and you could tell all of this, I hate this thing. You could tell all of it was clearly due to Harold Ramis. Harold Ramis is like, and Ivan Reitman, we're like, you need, if you're going to have something in a future scene, you need to follow up how it got there from a previous scene. That's part of storytelling.
No, because there's so
In a
many
movie like
assumptive
this-
things like this.
That's when you get a shit movie like this,
Not
when you
necessarily.
assume everything.
It doesn't matter because you just assume, oh, it got there. Who cares?
I couldn't.
It doesn't
who cares?
matter.
I tried. I couldn't. Who cares?
Just like, I need to
I
see
hate
it
that I'm
taken in
holding-
a car somehow.
I hate that my hand goes to instantly hold on to Slimer's butt cheeks.
I don't know if you can see that, but yeah, he's got a
You know,
butt.
you know what? He'll put a picture of it up here.
Yeah.
He'll get a picture zoomed in on Slimer's butt cheeks.
The talk of the town.
But
Winston
yeah,
and
okay.
Lucky introduced the Spanglers to Winston's privately owned paranormal research center, where people under Dr. Lars Penfield are being trained to become Ghostbusters and modifying Callie's deceased father, Egon Spangler's ghostbusting inventions.
This was just the Penfield guy was the worst because the Penfield is Egon,
Yeah,
and
they're setting it up.
it was so callous and so heartless and so without remorse for what it was doing to the characters of this original movie.
No,
that
I just think we're done. Like, we're going to the next thing.
because it's you know what, this movie reeked of. Hey, you know what? Shut up. You'll go see. It's a fucking Ghostbuster. It's same with the Jurassic World stuff. The Jurassic World stuff is like,
All right.
you know what? Just shut up. You'll go see it. Just shut your mouth and go see it. As soon as Springhead or whatever his name is, Sideshow Bob, as soon as he shows up, I'm like, no one cares in this movie. And then as soon as a certain character shows up behind him, I was like, he really doesn't care. And this was the only thing while I was watching the movie, I was like, this I want to make sure to talk about. And I apologize, it's going to be a 600-hour podcast.
It's going to be
Hopefully
a
you
long
cut
one.
it down.
That's fine. No, we'll see.
So Dan Aykroyd shows up. They're in a dark, underground, no lights on anywhere containment unit. Dan Aykroyd is wearing signature Dan Aykroyd Skull's Head vodka sunglasses through the whole scene.
Isn't that awesome?
And I was like, this guy
Skull headbutt.
is such a fucking shill
Of course. Yeah.
that he will just show up. Hey, man, I wonder what's going on with Ghost. Total spasmodic ghost riddle reversal things. Man, my sunglasses are cool.
And have you seen me in Psy Factor?
He's so callous. What a callous human being he is. I mean, to already shill this movie,
If you're allowed to show your product, why wouldn't you?
of course, but the fact that he likes to pretend that this is a Ghostbusters movie and not a personal commercial for him is, again, it's
just
callous.
It's just a small item.
fucking,
It's just a small. It's sunglasses. Who cares?
you know what it is? It's death by 1,000 paper cuts.
it's
this whole
sunglasses.
movie is callous garbage. And I like, look, I'm no fucking like Ghostbusters. What's the word I'm looking for?
Super fan.
Super fan. Yeah, like I'm not like, oh my God, this is the fucking Bible. But the movie pisses so just carelessly over why you like the original Ghostbusters movie. That's what irritated me, was the movie just pisses in your face if you like the subtlety of the original.
The unfortunate thing
doesn't
is
care
that
about it.
those movies were made for adults.
Yep.
And now they're made for families.
I would not say that at all. I'd say they are made for profit.
Well,
They
yes,
are
but
made to bring
what
in
isn't?
profit.
Come on.
I watch movies like Anatomy of a Fall, All of Us Strangers, Zone of Interest, Poor Things.
None of these are like top of the box office.
Are you out of your mind?
None of them are top of the box.
Poor
office.
Things won how many fucking Academy Awards?
But were they
Dune.
were they top of the box office before they won the rewards? They were
No.
just like
But the same as Dune. Look at how much money Dune made.
Dune was
is
top of the box office immediately.
Yeah. And it was a movie that cared about its subject
And they're
matter.
selling popcorn
Sometimes, not
tubs
all of it.
that you have sex with.
I like how you're not going to say fuck.
I'm
But no,
trying
this
to be
movie
PG.
is made for profit. It doesn't
Of
care
course
about its
it
subject
is.
matter.
You're-
It cares about member berries.
How much money did the first one make off of toys and stuff? I know it wasn't like here's my toys, but I mean like
No, I get what you mean.
movies
but
are made for toys.
the movies
or
were
anything.
a product, the toys were a product of the movie. Same with the original
Star Wars.
The toys were a product of the movie, you know? Whereas with this, and the new Star Wars does, so don't get me wrong.
Oh, totally.
With
The birds that didn't sell well.
the birds.
In Rise of Skywalker, those bird
Oh, the porgs.
creature, yeah.
Not Rise of Skywalker, it was Last Jedi.
Did you see how much money they put into?
Yep.
And then it just fell flat.
Yep.
And then the child worked.
That was around the time when audiences were like, all right, we're being sold here. They're selling
It
us.
was also COVID.
But they're all,
No, was
I
it
thought
right
was
before
long
COVID?
before
Oh,
COVID.
okay.
But no, the point is, with this, it's all, hey, remember Slimer? Here's a popcorn thing. Here's some toys.
Hey, collectors.
There's Ecto One. Here's a toy. Oh, here's Podcast and Phoebe and
Podcast is a
Wilfred
bad name.
Brimley or whatever his name is.
What's he do? He podcasts.
All these characters, and you're like they're made to be action figures. Same with the Marvel stuff. They're made to be action
I
figures.
wouldn't say they're made to be action
I think
figures.
they
I
are.
think that's a stretch.
But I am just bitching the same thing over and over again. So I'll shut up so you can do the synopsis.
Despite having reverse engineered
Try
Egon,
to do the synopsis. We saw how we read it
trying,
before.
Trying. Despite having
Failing. Is this a collector's item?
I guess. I don't think it would be. I think it's pretty cool though.
As
Come on,
soon as
that's
they
pretty
showed
cool.
up, I hated them.
These are pretty cool.
I hate them.
I've grown into liking the Stay Puft marshmallows.
I hate them.
It's not. You're gonna disagree with me, but I feel like they're not overdone. They're not like the plot of the. They're just like, here they are, funny little thing to put in, and they could totally overdo it and make them a Minions movie, which I think
remember-
would work.
Remember in the original Ghostbusters how Dana shows up, puts Stay Puft marshmallows on the counter,
Yeah.
and then the eggs start to break open, and then the Stay Puft marshmallows are there. So you're like, oh, Stay Puft marshmallows. And then at the end, Gozer says, choose your destroyer. And blank your minds. And they're like, it's been chosen. I didn't think anything. He looks at him,
It
Ray.
was clever because you wouldn't.
What the fuck did you do?
How many people didn't
And he
even
goes,
think to read that marshmallow?
It's the Stay
thing?
Puft Marshmallow Man. And he goes, I remember from when we were a kid, Mr. Stay Puft, he was always a good guy. That was super funny. And that was original. That made me laugh.
And it took mostly, for most people, a second viewing to realize Stay Puft Marshmallows on the thing if you didn't pick it up.
And then in this one,
But you guarantee that nowadays, if they made that same movie these days, they would sell the hell out of
Of course
Stay
they would.
Puft Marshmallows
but what the fuck are they in this movie for?
for fun. They're
But where did they
cute
come from?
But they're the cute toy. They had to have something that's going to be the cute toy, right?
Right, but it's like...
Look, I bought it.
Using Last Jedi as the example, the Porgs live on Acto. They're that island, right? So there's a reason the Porgs are there. Why the fuck are they here?
They're callbacks. They said in the movie he brought them back. For some reason he brought them back.
For some reason, he brought them back. For some reason, Palpatine returned.
I agree, it's a stretch, but does it really matter?
No, but the whole time, this girl beside me, he's like, oh, I love them. Oh, I want.
Exactly.
That's what it was made for. Yeah, and I'm just watching it
And
going,
kids,
I hate my life.
my son loved it.
No, my boys were like, oh, that's not true. Sorry. The boys were like, hee. Especially when they were like grinding themselves
And I
up.
bet
They're
they
like,
enjoyed
"Hee."
Slimer when he was on screen. They brought Slimer back just for that. You know that.
I did like, there was one part near the end where my youngest son went, okay. It's kind of like that, like whatever. I'm just.
Despite having reverse engineered Egon's ecto-containment technology into a machine that can extract spiritual energy, we'll get into that, Pinfield is unable to pull anything from the orb. Trevor, Pinfield, and Lucky.
Who's Trevor? Is that Paul Rudd?
You're asking me questions. What have I told you about asking?
This is the best part of the podcast when Phil's got to reread. the
when I have to
synopsis.
re-edit.
Yeah, Trevor is Paul Rudd. We're just going to say that.
Okay. Trevor, Pinfield, and Lucky.
Who's Lucky? Oh, Lucky's the black girl. The little black girl with the dreads?
Yeah. Okay. Visit Nadim and discover the hidden brass-lined chamber where Nadim's
And poor Kamal Nanjiani,
grandmother stored the
he
orb.
has one joke the whole movie, and he just keeps on doing the one joke over and over. There was one scene where I legitimately went, that one scene got a, not chuckle, like
Is that when they were crying?
No. It's a scene when he goes, he's like, oh, I'm the fire master, and he gets the they go over and he's trying to, and he gets the candle to light, and he goes, they're like, oh, you did it. He's like, we're all gonna die like that. I'm like, that was worthy.
I hated all the Firemaster stuff.
Kumail Nanjiani was the only
I hated it.
one. No, that's not true. Not the only one.
You could take that all out.
But he was
Focus on other things.
I hated it because you watch him in other stuff. He was so good in that. There was a recent mini series. I wish I could remember the name, but it was all about the Chippendale dancers. I think it was just called Chippendales. And he plays the guy that created Chippendales. He was spectacular in it.
I'm not saying that he's bad. I'm saying why he was there, his character, that whole writing, pointless.
Nope.
It was just like,
They needed the Fire
We'll
Master.
add fire to the protons at the end. Well, how are we going to do that? Well, let's create a character out of nowhere that can play with fire like a superhero.
Yep.
No.
He's an Avatar Airbender.
How
you
dare
you hate
it? You couldn't have a Phoebe or the people downstairs.
They did have Phoebe solve the problem.
Why couldn't she solve the entire problem? Oh, I can add fire to my proton
I can tell
pack.
you why.
I hate Nadim himself is also charged with mystical energy, and a psychological evaluation by Peter Venkman reveals that Nadim has, you like that part, has latent pyrokinetic powers.
I like that. Here's Bill Murray. Throws a pencil at him.
That was fun.
Thing. Bill Murray is so disinterested to be in this movie. They were like, dude, one of his fucking kids must have come up to him and said, dude, please be in the movie. He's like, all right, whatever.
It's gonna come down to money at the end of the day.
Of course. And same with Annie Potts. She looks like she is speaking through gritted teeth.
I think she's just gotten past that phase of like, I'm too old for this.
Yeah, and she's just like, okay, I'm a Ghostbuster, I guess.
Melody visits Phoebe at the firehouse.
Okay, so we had a bunch of like 17-year-olds behind us. I had this ADHD girl beside me who I think had something wrong with her.
Skipped that part.
And in this scene, Phoebe decides, I can't be a Ghostbuster. I'm going to go for a walk. And she runs into Melody. And then her and Melody are walking by the window of Melody's diner.
Yeah.
Right? So in the middle of New York at night, there is a girl walking down the street with a fucking ghost. Nobody says anything.
It's New York.
So I'm watching it, and I turned to Dexter. I didn't realize how loud I was. And I said, no one notices this fucking millennial just walking around with a ghost? And I said it loud. I'm like, oh, shit. I didn't realize how I said it as loud as I did. And even Dexter's like, starts laughing. And the kids behind me and the girl beside me shut up for about 10 minutes because I think and I'm hoping I put that little seed in their brain going, this wasn't written very well. This is pretty dumb. But then scenes happen and explosions.
Okay, I want to get into something.
You fucking better.
And you're going to hate this, I'm sure.
Oh, I know I already
You hate almost everything that comes out of my mouth when we're talking about Ghostbusters or Jurassic World.
What was that last one called? Dominion, right? Jurassic World Dominion, yeah.
Okay. This movie should have tackled the idea of, should we be busting the ghost or should we be talking to them first? They started to, and then...
Oh, with the Melody thing.
It went absolutely nowhere.
Well, because Melody was a bad guy.
Sure, but at any point, Phoebe could have come up to her parents and said, you know what? Bustin's not making me feel good because I'm an asshole. I'm just shooting first like the police in New York City.
Yeah, but you can't do that.
Can't do what?
You can't have that type of plot device in the movie.
Well, aside from the police thing, but you can't.
No,
you can.
You can't have them talking to the ghosts.
Why not?
Because then you have to think that maybe the Ghostbusters are bad guys.
Yes.
And Bustin makes them feel good.
Yeah. Well, then that.
Don't you remember when Paul Rudd said, "Bustin makes me feel good"?
But then
who you gonna call?
So the cops are the good guy no matter what.
But Phil, who are you gonna call?
Stop it.
Bustin makes them feel good.
That's
the logic of the movie.
The better way to go about this movie should have been the idea of, hey,
You want such a
we're
cerebral
assholes.
Ghostbusters
Yes,
movie.
I do. I want the whole thing. Like, I want them to question. I want them to go, maybe this wasn't the right approach. We have been busting all these ghosts, and it's in the inner workings of the script the whole time. It's like, we have been busting these ghosts, and then we're taking these ghosts and shredding them out of these items,
But then,
and then throwing them who knows where, trapping them in a thing. For what reason?
and then
We don't know if it's someone's grandmother.
Slimer comes along and eats a whole turkey and burps.
And then
then
everything's okay.
They go, bustin' makes me feel good.
So if Melody happened to be a good person, should she have been busted?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
So we're just going to shoot first.
Hey, you know why? Because they're Ghostbusters.
No,
Ghostbusters.
it's like,
I'm not saying that you're wrong. I'm saying that
because I'm a
in this
terrorist,
movie,
I should not change my ways.
But what if he was a
because
terrorist
I'm
ghost?
a terrorist.
also, if he was a terrorist ghost and he had blown up, wouldn't he be all over the
I
fucking
hate
place?
you so much. We can't have a reasonable.
Not about Ghostbusters.
We can't have a serious topic about taking ghosts seriously.
You want it to be serious. I'm telling you why it
I
can't
just
be.
want to throw it out there as, why can't that be the plot device? Why can't it be changing the whole dynamic of Ghostbusters and being like, maybe we should challenge this differently and go after the ones that are proven bad, and then have it be a thing about the cops in general. Like, we were not going to say it's about the cops, but hey, maybe we can bring that idea to other things. Maybe we can teach the millennials out there that maybe the things are a little bit iffy on the streets of any city.
What they should have done was Phoebe should have come with that and said, what if we shouldn't be busting ghosts? What if we should be talking to them?
Yes, that's what I just
Paul
said.
Rudd's character said, doesn't busting make you
I hate
feel
you.
good?
I hate you.
And she went, oh. You know how long I was waiting to do that? I was staring at the camera the whole time.
Where's your son?
You just do a dissolve and it turns to Dexter.
Next week, same thing. You're in the corner somewhere.
Fucking tied up with a gag in my mouth.
We find you in the same room with Will. Sorry, Will.
When Phoebe says, I wish I was a ghost, there's this device that she can go into that sucks her ghostness out of her body.
So that was the machine that sucks the ghostness out of inanimate objects that are being haunted.
Right. So she's not an inanimate object, but she's going to get the ghost sucked out of her.
It can be any object.
Sure. She gets the ghost sucked out of her, and then she's looking at Melody, and she's like, boo. I thought I knew where that scene was going. I thought we were going to start seeing ghost lesbianism. Tell me it didn't have that vibe, right?
It was bridging the line. Is that the bridging? Yes.
Yep.
It was like, is she friends? Is she? But I think that the thought process is, does it matter? It can be
no, it doesn't. But the vibe that was there, I was like,
Yeah.
what the fuck? Are
I thought we were
going to
get ghost kiss. Yeah.
And but then Melody goes, "Oh, sorry," and then does something like takes the orb or something. I don't know. And then Phoebe's
Keep
ghost.
in mind, she died at a time where this wasn't acceptable.
What wasn't acceptable? Ghosts?
But bisexualism, lesbianism, LGBTQ, RST.
But she's been around for so long. She's seen it all change.
Has she though?
Yeah, she sure has. Maybe that's why she was like, "Oh, I've got feelings for Phoebe."
They're multiplying.
You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to let Baraka out of this cube or this circle. Who cares? I'm going to let Baraka out of this orb, and then destroy the world. Sure.
Ray, Phoebe, and podcast. Visit Dr. Hubert Wartsky at the New York Public Library, where he explains that the orb was meant to imprison a demonic god, Garaka, who sought to conquer their dimension with his ability to telepathically control ghosts and to lower temperatures to absolute zero when feeding upon fear. You want more of that? He was trapped after a
What do
battle.
you mean you want more? Do I want more of that? Do you have more of it?
No, with more.
Is this zero sugar?
I meant more history. And yes, it's zero sugar.
What does that say? Feel your greatness. Oh, that's no fuel.
Or
fuel
feel.
your greatness.
Sure. What flavor is it?
Oh shit! What flavor is this? Energy drink, Rise Fuel, Tropical Punch.
Kool-Aid.
Nice. I'm more interested in Kool-Aid than I am in the rest of this movie.
He was trapped after a battle with 4 sorcerers, the Fire Masters, with enchanted weapons of fire and brass. So the old Ghostbusters. Garaka was briefly.
Maybe the old Ghostbusters.
It's essentially Ghostbusters
Oh,
of like
I thought you meant the original.
the
Okay.
Primitive Society
Primaturs are.
of 1904. No,
What were they called? They had a name. It'll probably
It's
come up.
Fire Masters. 4 sorcerers, the Fire Masters, with enchanted weapons of fire and brass. Garaka was briefly freed by the Manhattan Adventure Society
That's what they were called. Manhattan Adventure Society.
at the MAS. Mass. 1904.
You know, I'll never forget.
The 1904 chapter.
We were so Dexter was like, I don't know.
A baby.
Yeah, it was like 10 or 11.
Same thing.
And we were walking to school, and maybe he was younger than that, like 8 or
baby?
9. No, like 8 or 9 or 10. And we're walking to school, and he goes, he said something about like, I wonder if all like girls or boys. And we're like,
Okay.
this is like, but the first time he's ever kind of brought it up. And I'm like, oh, I said, well, whatever, dude, whatever, works best for you. He goes, I think I like girls with mass. And I'm like,
Oh, he takes after his father.
well, I was like, you mean like bigger girls? He goes like, no, mass, like mutant alien super squad. And we were like, he thought he was going to say that he liked like
Big
girls
booty,
with big asses and
yeah.
big boobs, but no, he said mutants of alien super squad. Oh, it was funny. God, it made me laugh. Every now and then I remember back to that.
We're talking about something serious here, Rob.
We sure are.
Where was I?
How? So you're telling me your kid was enjoying paying attention to this whole thing?
Yeah.
Because Alexander's like,
He was
what,
in it.
8?
9.
9.
Yeah.
Wow, I can't believe
So
it.
was I.
You were 9?
At one point. Maybe twice. Killing its members before being recaptured by one of the Fire Master's descendants, Nadim's grandmother. And the library has the phonograph cylinder.
Is it mean to say, I don't think Nadim's grandmother would have been a welcome and respected member of the Manhattan Art Society or whatever they were called?
Okay, first of all, she was in costume.
Okay.
Do you think she was in there as a statue first?
I did think she was a statue. That's right.
No, but I mean, like, they come in there to party, and she's like,
So as soon as they were like, oh, that was his grandmother, I'm like, yeah, I don't know how open 1904 New York would be to people of color, especially Indians.
maybe she was the wait staff.
Maybe, but New York has
Gentlemen's
an
Club.
interesting history. Yeah, you know
Maybe
what,
she
you're
was a
right.
stripper.
Maybe she was an entertainer.
Same thing.
No. This is what you have to cut out.
Yeah,
Fucking dead
that's what I
spots.
planned to do. And the library has a phonograph. Phonograph?
Phonograph.
And the library has a phonograph cylinder recording of. Oh my God.
I don't know how you don't remember all this off the top of your head because the movie was so good.
Recording of the chant made by the club's members that would free him from captivity. A ghost known as the Possessor attempts to steal the cylinder, which is destroyed alongside one of the library's marble lions during the ensuing chase. In response to the damage, Peck seizes the firehouse and impounds Ghostbusters' original equipment, which absolutely went nowhere because they just got it back in a minute without even... Where did they get the stuff back?
What I like is he says,
How did they get the stuff back?
your proton packs are going to be melted down by morning. Melted down for scrap by morning.
Phrase.
Right. But remember in the first movie, and I hate to be constantly keep on going back to the first movie.
It's a threat, and legally he couldn't do it.
But remember how Egon says, Ray says, each of us is wearing a nuclear accelerator on his back.
He doesn't understand that, though.
You really want to burn a nuclear accelerator?
Have you seen the Republicans do anything in anything, anywhere?
In Ghostbusters.
They don't understand shit all.
Yes, they do. You know what they understand the most? Bustin' makes them feel good.
What crime have they said that Biden committed in the
I don't know, genocide? I don't know. I'm asking you.
in the impeachment hearings that they've been doing? Nothing.
Yeah. There is a crime though.
There is none.
That's what they're saying. There is a crime.
Yeah. We'll find it.
Yeah, we'll
But
find
you've
it.
already put forth an impeachment, which you have to have a crime to do so for. So you're just
us
like
time.
buying time.
My favorite is now that Marjorie Taylor Greene wants to oust the new speaker, Mike Johnson. You're like, holy fuck. That lady, so speaking of New York, I saw a great video where she was trying to go campaign in New York, and New York booed and screamed her out of wherever she was. And what's crazy is there's a guy on his phone. He goes, yeah, get out of here, you fucking animal. You fucking racist animal. And I love how he's screaming at her.
That's probably the dude that keeps on showing up at places, and he's he does it for his video.
No, that's Michael Rappaport, I think that you're talking about.
He's like a short, balding type dude.
Oh, no, Mike Rappaport. But no, Mike Rappaport's an actor who kind of lost his mind. But what's great is this guy, I love seeing all of New York scream in the way that only New Jersey and New Yorkers can scream at people. Because that woman is terrible. That woman is awful. And it was great watching this guy scream at her, call her a racist animal. That was good.
The only way she would get anywhere near to be on a board of anything would be to be batshit crazy and be elected to whatever batshit crazy state would elect that kind of piece of shit.
I think she's trying to not really do anything worthwhile, but be very loud, because Trump loves loud, right?
Yes.
I think she's trying to get to be Trump's VP.
Get ahead by being the most crazy bitch.
Yeah, just insane. Because that's what he notices. He's like, who's going to get more publicity? Crazy one? Awesome. Crazy one's my VP.
Phoebe runs away from her family to see Melody, and Phoebe deliberately turns herself into a ghost with the lab's extraction machine.
Yeah.
So that she and Melody can physically interact.
What I like too is, did she know she would stay alive?
Yeah, for 2 minutes.
Oh.
No, that she knew she would come back after 2 minutes.
Right, but did she know like her body would continue breathing and heart would continue beating? And
I
all that?
assume.
Oh, yeah.
Somehow
Same
she
here.
knew the 2 minute thing.
Yep.
I don't know where that came from.
I'm sure somebody said it,
It's
but I
like,
wasn't paying attention.
okay, so if you take it out of an inanimate object, it doesn't come back in 2 minutes.
No.
So, like, I just don't understand where that came from. No. Don't do it. Don't. I hate you. Okay.
That should be the thumbnail. Your hand up and me like.
But Melody reveals that she agreed to free Garaka from his prison. By forcing Phoebe to recite the chant and resisting Lucky's attempts to stop him, Garaka escapes his prison and freezes the city.
And no one dies.
We don't know that.
Oh, remember he freezes everyone for some reason is on a beach now?
There's a beach in New York.
Right, but I don't care.
And they should have played the Cruel Summer, like in the trailer.
They should have played Enter Sandman.
Dun, 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 dun. You're welcome. By forcing Phoebe to recite the chant, realizing that Garaka intends to free the ghost from the containment unit to rebuild his army, the Ghostbusters gather. All the Ghostbusters gather. Yes, we're still at it. I was using that.
He said everything he wants to say about Ghostbusters.
By forcing Phoebe to... okay. We're going to start over. The whole thing. Let's start the whole
Yes, right.
podcast. We'll make it an hour instead of 3.
2 out of 10.
I wonder what Will's doing.
Boo!
Realizing that Garaka intends to free the ghost from the containment unit to rebuild his army, the Ghostbusters gather to defend their headquarters with new gear while Nadim dons his grandmother's armor and practices his pyrokinesis to help them. You know what would be funny? If the armor ended up being like this bra thing with the hanging
Right?
down thing, not this
That could
whole
be
gear.
that could be a joke.
Because it would be his grandmother's thing. Like,
Actually, I mean,
my
there-
grandmother was into some weird things.
all the jokes. There was
Sex
yeah,
dungeon.
whatever. None of it was goddamn funny.
When
Dude.
Garaka arrives, he easily overwhelms the Ghostbusters and breaks the containment unit, freeing the
shit.
captured ghost, which I love.
You know what I thought was going to happen as soon as they're all shooting at Baraka? I was like,
A ghost montage?
no, I thought they were going to do, the only way to take down Baraka is cross the streams. I was like, you guys aren't going to do it
playback,
across
yeah.
the streams? I thought
I'm
that's
surprised
what
they
was coming.
didn't try
Same
it.
with me.
Yeah.
I'm surprised
and
they
it
didn't do
fails.
it across the streams.
That would be fine. And then they have to go to this other stupid idea. But also,
Also,
what
hold
happened
on.
the last time that the containment unit broke? What happened?
Well, it didn't break. It was opened. The guy shut it down effectively. All the ghosts went out and they were.
Okay. It broke because what happened was he shut it down, but they were able to then escape
Yep.
because there's no containment to it. So, right? What happened?
All the ghosts escaped.
Okay. And then they did a
Ghostbusters.
montage.
Ghostbusters.
You can't just say Ghostbusters.
That's what it is. They Ghostbusters.
Would it not be fun to have another ghost montage of like
How
all
fucking
these
long do you want this movie to
interesting ghosts? Like
This fucking podcast is
some
going to be as
different
long as a
ghosts,
stupid
but
movie.
you'd have some callbacks like the taxi driver,
No, I can't do
not
too
the
scary.
Titanic.
They should do a gender neutral ghost.
They did.
Who?
That
Slimer.
Melody. How do you know? You don't know. You
Slimer
can't.
had
You
a
can't
butt.
assume. We're on
Meanwhile,
that-
this whole time you're enraptured by Finn Blowjob going, "Oh, when can I drive?" There's Slimer.
Phoebe reconfigures her proton pack with brass.
Okay, now she's like, "Oh, we need brass." They look over at the fire pole. Then it shows them running a sawzall through the fire pole, then melting the fire pole
With
into with a
how long do you think that would take?
super long. My
Holy
point is,
shit.
they melt down.
Some
with
scientists,
with a-
please respond.
Oh, what the fuck's the word I'm looking for?
Fire pole.
No, what they're melting it with. It's gonna bug me now.
Fire.
Yeah, fire. Bothers me.
The
that I-
fire starter will.
The fire starter. Yeah, they
I don't know.
they melted with Prodigy, but the point is
starter.
then the joke is
Bow.
Nadim
Bow.
is coming down the fire pole, and even Dexter turns to me and goes, "Didn't they cut down the fire pole?" I'm like, "Yeah." So how was Nadim coming down when they cut down the fire pole?
I'm gonna have to watch the movie again and see if
Because I watched it, I'm like, was nobody paying attention? Like nobody cared. They were just like,
Did he
just
make a
counting their
joke
money.
about it, or did he actually go down the fire pole?
No, remember when he's like, beep, meep, meep, and he's like slowly
in
sliding
the
down it?
gear.
That comes
Was that-
after she's cut down the fucking fire. She's cut it and is melting
Did
it.
you know the firehouse has 2 fire poles?
Oh no! You know what would have been great?
No, honestly, that it does.
Okay, what would have been great is if they fucking showed that,
Yeah.
or if they did a joke where he's about to go down one and go, whoa, nothing left of this one, has to climb back up and run over to the other one. That would be a joke that you could do.
I hope someone responds to the comments and goes, actually, there's only
Actually.
1 fire pole in this movie.
Actually.
I thought there was 2 because I played the Ghostbusters video game, and you can explore the
Yeah, I
firehouse,
remember.
and I believe there was 2, but I could
I don't
be
remember.
wrong.
I don't remember there being 2. All I
My
remember is
brain sucked.
that there are some video games in the main room where they all hang out. The one where you see where he blasted all the windows and you're shooting the Stay Puft Ghost, and then you climb up to the roof and you're shooting down on him.
That was
Remember?
there?
Yeah.
Oh, no, you're talking about...
No. This is a video game.
I thought they had a Ghostbusters game in the Ghostbusters.
Fuck,
Which
I
could
wish.
happen because they had the Ghostbusters song on the TV in the Ghostbusters movie.
Yeah, but they
Because
also
they played the money.
But they had the Ghostbusters song in Ghostbusters 2.
Yeah.
Who fucking cares?
Melody turns on Goreka, realizing that he did not intend to honor their deal, and helps Phoebe and Nadim restrain him, while Ray reconfigures the unit to trap the god. Helping the Ghostbusters allows Melody to ascend to the afterlife, and she reconciles with Phoebe before joining her family. The city thaws, and the Ghostbusters are hailed as heroes. Despite Peck threatening to shut them down, they coerce.
Yeah, they have a coerce.
They have a coerce that's now an ectomobile, which is not what it's called.
The Ectomobile.
At the Ecto 1.
No, remember Ray was Ecto
1B?
1B or 1C?
I think it's, yeah.
That was so stupid.
And they didn't go into anything with that either. And it actually does do things, but it's like so like uninspired, like the look of it.
Yeah, but also, get in the side or something, and there's a gun.
That stuff is
thing,
the cool part.
and he's shooting. I was so bored. through
Like
this
it
whole
comes out of
movie.
nowhere. And
Any of the action in this movie, I was bored to fucking tears.
You should have had that Ecto 1C, whatever it is. It should have had wheelchair. Why am I doing that? Oh, wait, it's a sidecar.
Yeah.
We had a sidecar joke last week. Sidecar. It's a soda car. Sorry, I'm trying to bring it back to last week.
What?
Soda car.
I am looking
Maybe
forward
it's the
to
week before
next week.
Okay, let's just finish this off. Despite Peck
Yeah,
threatening
this great movie that you spent $1 billion fucking on. I'll tell you one thing. I don't want to admit
Can I
how much I spent on our next movie.
Star Wars?
Yeah.
Despite Peck threatening to shut them down, they coerce him into supporting the team and reinstating Phoebe,
Okay, great.
leading into something coming.
Yeah,
Having
who cares?
learned to appreciate her family, Phoebe accepts Gary as her father, kind of. And the team, you are so... I wouldn't watch a Star Wars movie and treat it like this. I'm just saying. And remember what you said at the starting of the podcast? Oh, I'm going to treat this serious for Phil's sake. Thanks, Rob. Thanks for all of this.
Dexter ruined it for me.
Phoebe accepts Gary as her father, kind of. And the team begins rounding up the escaped ghosts, which that should have been part of the movie.
Was there a
including the sewer dragon again.
was there a stinger scene?
In a post-credit scene,
We left immediately. I couldn't watch anymore.
it wasn't worth it. Several mini puffs steal a large tractor trailer filled with Stay Puft marshmallows from a truck stop. That's it. Lame. They should have had some kind of like callback ghost or even something like, I don't know, a callback ghost would be great.
They should have had the Stay Puft Marshmallow guys drive and smash into a wall, and then some guy walks up and goes, "Man, that fucking truck is busted."
That
and
would
then
have
the
been
other guy goes to him, "Bustin' made them feel good."
no.
That
would have been a perfect time for the montage of catching ghosts.
I agree.
Because like it could go throughout the whole credits, and then you have people stay for your credits and watch them bust like classic ghosts and new ghosts, and then it would be a good lead up into what's coming. They're working on a Netflix animated series.
Oh wow!
By the way, this will come out next week, but have you watched the Kong Skull Island animated series on Netflix?
No,
It's good.
really.
Just for your lead in, because it's nice.
So, yeah, that's the end of Ghostbusters. This won't be the last movie.
What would you rate it out of 10? Out of 10 Stay Puft Marshmallow.
Out of 10 Stay Puft Marshmallow men. Oh, that's right. Sorry, Stay Puft Marshmallow people. Because they're not men. Out of 10 Stay Puft Marshmallow.
Out of 10 Slimer fuck buckets.
Slimer fuck buckets. How much slime would I pump into the Slimer fuck bucket?
And would it be green?
That's what I eat.
With enough ecto cooler.
God. I never want to watch this again.
Was it better or worse than
It was worse than I thought it was going to be. I will
Last
say
movie.
too. Oh man, that's a tough one. I will say the ultimate insult
You better
at the end of
answer
this one
correctly.
was the Fort Ivan at the end of it. I'm like, fuck you.
Let them have it. It's not a big deal. It's just letters at
Slimy
the
thing
end.
to do.
No, it's not. That wasn't for promotion.
That
was
felt opportunistic.
no. That would be if you were to put it at the start. Not even at the start because they're already there. They're already watched the movie. Who cares?
Don't care. But oh man,
We're like 6 hours in. Holy shit.
I feel like, oh god, that
Out
is
of-
a hard question.
Oh, we already. Did you
What
already
would I?
say?
No. So I would give it like a. I never want to watch this again. I give it a 4 out of 10. I'm upset that I watched it.
He's mad.
I never ever want to see this again.
Is it
but
better or
God.
worse?
Oh, that is a hard question. That's a Sophie's choice of a question.
I know. You know my answer.
I'm gonna say it is. Oh, I'm gonna say it's better than Afterlife because the callousness, it wears its callousness on its sleeve. Whereas Afterlife tried to bullshit you into this is a real Ghostbusters movie, and then had the absolute indecency to show Harold Ramis as a ghost at
To
the
make
end
it
of
a family movie.
Yeah.
The weird thing is the first one was very focused on building this family movie
about his family
thing, and didn't have all these multiple, all these different people, all these different storylines going on at the same time. It was like
I
that
will say,
family
too,
and maybe 2 or 3 storylines.
I feel like the product placement wasn't as in your face in this one as it was in the
You're right.
other one.
Because in the last one, it was Walmart. It was like one of the Pepsi or Cokes.
Yeah.
It was Walmart.
Yeah,
Walmart
the
was the
Walmart
big
one was
one.
the big one.
But then, okay.
What about you? How many slime or fuck buckets do you give this out of slime?
So Afterlife, I was disappointed with overall because it's not a movie I care to go back and watch. This is.
Really? Go back? I'll
Yeah,
never watch this.
I would watch this a couple times over. Like, it's to me, it's Afterlife would be a 6 out of 10. It was good. That's a big fan.
I was gonna
Yeah.
say that's
It's
your overwhelming
good,
reaction to it.
But this movie, I would say, is a 7,
Okay.
and I like it's on the higher side of good, not quite great. Unfortunately, you take 6 or 7 different story beats and you don't flesh them out.
Yep.
And that was the biggest issue with this movie. If you would have focused the stream of story, I did it first.
I can't do it. As soon as you turn away, I start to laugh.
Yeah, if they would have been more focused, then maybe. Like,
Yeah.
there's certain things. Kamal, get him out. I don't care. Like, it's not that he's a bad actor. It's just that storyline is
Yeah.
shit.
Pointless.
What's his name from the library? I couldn't care less.
Or even fucking Springfield.
let him
Like,
stay. Let
I
him
don't
be in
understand.
Marvel.
I don't understand why Springfield had to matter. But whatever, dude.
Springfield.
Pinhead.
Oh, yeah.
Pinfield.
Well, that could have been just like a quick. And it kind of
He's
was.
just a guy that works there.
He was only in 2 scenes.
But then he becomes like part of the
3.
team. You're like,
3.
what?
Yeah.
Out of the, yeah, I just
He becomes part of the team.
effectively.
Oh,
yeah.
Pin. I thought you were talking about Peck. Sorry.
Oh, Pinfield.
I think they're setting him up to be the next sequel.
The point is,
Him, maybe Blowhard.
yeah, Finn blowjob.
Who do you think? How do you think the next movie is going to be?
The next movie is going to have to be with Stranger Things coming out. They're
didn't
going
even
to
think of
need
that.
they're going to need Finn
When is
blowjob in
Stranger
it.
Things coming?
I think it's 2025. So and
And
because
the next movie is probably a year away.
Yep.
If they're smart.
but no, the next movie will be out 2026.
I don't. Is it for sure? Okay.
So they'll do
Is it Ghostbusters City?
probably,
I'm
but they'll
making
do
a joke on the.
blowjob will be in it because they'll still be riding high because remember next season
Well,
is
he's
supposed
not
to be
dead, so.
no, but next one is supposed to be the last Stranger Things, so he'll be riding high from the last season of Stranger Things.
Yeah.
So blowjob will be in it. Podcast will be in
Maybe
it.
for once, make him a vital part of the
No, they can't do that.
that.
He's a terrible actor. Why fucking do that?
I don't think he's a terrible actor.
I
But
think
you
he's-
hate
all of them
people
are
in
bad.
general, so
But no, Phoebe will be.
Let's bring Adam Sandler
somewhere.
in.
Adam Sandler will be in it. Of course, fucking.
I could see
Dan
Adam
Aykroyd's gonna
Sandler
be in
being
it.
the new father.
Right. He just replaces Paul Rudd.
No,
and they don't even
they're
say
both
anything about
there.
it.
They have to fight over being.
They don't say anything.
He's the ex
It
now.
just replaces him. But yeah. But I want to say. So I said to the boys.
Okay.
What do you want to talk about with your Ghostbusters Slimer?
Now that you've seen this movie, the people at Ghost Corps
Ghost Corpse.
bring you in. I know you'd never do it, but bring you in and say, okay, we need to figure out how to fix the franchise.
Mhm.
What are you doing? Because you have to go from the last movie into a new movie.
Mhm.
What do you choose to do?
The first thing I do is Phoebe, her mom, her brother need to somehow be taken out of it. My recommendation would be like, oh, they've been kidnapped into the ghost dimension. So they're out of the movie and we've got to find them. Paul Rudd's character, he needs to get a band of happy-go-lucky dum-dums like Winston with Ray's assistance, but Ray is too old to go on.
You have them all be too old.
Yep, and
A whole new cast.
yeah, but the thing that makes the original movie work as good as it does is their schlubs, right? Like they're in it entirely for money. They're especially, and Venkman is the one character I remember the most, but they're even Egon.
Were they in it just for money before? I don't think
Venkman
just
was.
for money.
Egon was in there just to prove the science, and Ray because he 100% believed in it. If they could find people who were similar to that,
Like-minded, sure.
I think that would be a funny story, and it gives them a good narrative thrust where we've got to rescue. My daughter and my wife and my stepson, my stepdaughter, my wife, they're lost in the ghost dimension. I need your help. You guys need to help me, and then that's what creates the camaraderie.
I'm gonna bust your hopes.
Busting sure makes you feel good.
I know you don't think any of that's hopeful, but I mean, I think what they're going with is leaning on Phoebe for the rest of the.
I think so. Yeah, and it's sad because she's awful.
Because the next movie she'll be like maybe 17 or 18, probably 18.
Yep.
They'll play her as that.
She's going to be the Egon of the group, right? But they're going to try to be, oh, you know what? We can't have Egon because people made fun of Egon. So she's going to be the Egon / Venkman / leader of the group.
Yeah, she'll bring the old school Ghostbusters in one, is what you're trying to say. They're going to try for that.
Yeah.
And then have a whole new cast.
I just wish that they would, and they never will, but it would be nice, get away from Slimer, get away from Stay Puft, get away from stuff that is just member berries.
There will always be callbacks.
Yep, and there always will be. But before I was so rudely interrupted,
I would never.
I said to the boys, the more I see of Kong and Godzilla, the more I am so fucking psyched. And
Did you watch Monarch?
yeah,
All of it?
yeah.
Good.
This movie, I don't give a shit about D-Box for anything, but I was like,
Oh, that's gonna be.
I was like, dude, we got to go watch in a D-Box.
You're
So
gonna need a neck brace.
I bought our tickets.
Holy fuck!
For the D-Box seats
Oh my
for
God.
Godzilla and Kong in Ultra AVX. We're gonna have a ball watching this
Do you
movie.
remember that I went to my only D-Box experience? I went to Star Wars, and it was.
I was in D-Box.
I already had a stomach issue that day, and I went to D-Box, and I got rocked around, and I had to leave halfway through the movie. Not even halfway through, probably one third, one quarter through, and I was just like, I don't feel good. Can we get a refund? And they're like, yeah, we understand. It's D-Box.
I believe we went and saw. You know what it was?
to be Star Wars.
Pacific Rim.
Oh,
I saw Pacific Rim in D-Box.
That had to be
because we were like, these D-Box seats were brand new, and it was me and Leslie that went and saw it, and we were like, this is cool. This is a fun idea, and just the doom whenever they fucking stomped down. I'm like, that was fun, and I was like, no other movie I want to go see I would ever pay for D-Box, but this I'm like, oh fuck, of course, with Godzilla stomping around and shit, you got to do the D-Box. So
I was hearing, I don't know if this was part of the movie or part of a different theater, because sometimes you get rumblings from a different theater. But there was like rumblings that happened during this movie, and I was like, yeah, that's fitting. I don't know if it was part of the movie or or the next theater over, but I was enjoying the little rumbles. I wish the whole theater would rumble at certain points, like more than at ports. At certain points, more than it
You can
actually
turn the
does.
D-box off if you want to on the chair.
But then I paid $300 for a D-box, and I'm not going to use it.
Yeah. When you were bringing up how much money you spent on this, I spent on 3 tickets. I was $25. Dexter was $25. Elliot was $20.
Is this Cineplex?
Yeah. So we kind of like taxes in $85 for fucking movie tickets.
I've been using my free and my points to get the
Landmark.
premiere seat.
Absolutely.
But
But
you should enjoy the premiere.
that's what we're
seats.
gonna. Yeah, we're probably gonna
at
go
some
and
point.
see it. But yeah, so
next time
I
we
am
see something.
fucking super psyched, man, for King Kong vs. Godzilla. I am
too.
really excited.
My wife and my son are more excited for that than Ghostbusters.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Ghostbusters
I'm-
was. I knew I'd have to review Ghostbusters this, so Ghostbusters was a slog. But I am so looking forward to Kong vs. Godzilla.
Well, when we went to Ghostbusters, I got him one of those little minifigures that was hanging at the at Landmark. You can get like the little. They're like little. You paid too much for $6 for this little figurine, but
Of who Godzilla?
they didn't have Godzilla at the time, and he's gotten like the last movie. He's gotten 2 Kongs,
Okay.
and so no, the last movie he got 1 Kong. I got him a Kong the other day, and then he got himself the bad guy in this movie.
My dog has a Kong.
So we're hoping to get a Godzilla, but like the little things, if I can give any advice to parents out there is get them something to hold on to while they're watching the movie of something to do with the movie.
Also, thankfully, another parent that knows Phil was like, if you're going to take your kid to the movie, make sure that you give him some headphones. And he was like, oh, I didn't even think of that. So some very kind parent gave Phil a pair of headphones for his son, and he now wears them to the movies all the time. Right?
I wear them all the time. No, he's actually, it's been a while now because he's fine with it now.
Oh, really? Okay. Yeah,
But-
the boys still
but-
wear them, and then kind of sometimes.
They were awesome at the time because he was having what do you
Yeah,
call
it's
it?
too loud.
Stimul.
Yeah, overstimulated.
Yeah, he couldn't handle it. We went to Jurassic Park once, and it was just too much. It was too much screaming
Yeah, the same with
from the guy
boys.
next to him.
Same with the boys we've done it before, and they need those fucking headphones.
We used those when we went to Monster Trucks too,
Oh, nice.
because it's so loud. So they've come in handy a lot.
Thanks to me.
Yep.
God damn, I have. You know when you get like a cut on the cartilage on the inside of your nose, like the
All the
bridge
time.
part. God damn, I have one right there, and it's
Are you like putting things up there again?
yeah, X-Acto knives, screws.
You want to say it?
We are sorry, everybody, that you're watching Watch and Complain. We're very sorry that you watched this episode of Watch and Complain because Ghostbusters sucks. But if you didn't think it sucked, please comment on this video and tell Phil why he's wrong for liking it. You can watch us on YouTube and on watchcomplain.com.
You know what I just realized now? An hour and 34 minutes in, it's a ghost. They're not going to see it.
Oh, he's
green.
He's green. Maybe he'll see his
God
teeth.
damn it.
Maybe he'll see his teeth.
We're going to be like, look at this thing here. Look at this thing here. It's see-through. God damn it. I hope
fucked up.
people waited to the end and it was just like, haha.
Or you should do this as one of the little montage shorts.
Yeah.
Well, we're sorry you've been watching this. Next one will be better because Kong vs. Godzilla is going to be fun.
Maybe I'll have the Kong skull that I can put my popcorn
I'll
in.
3D print a Kong skull. Think of that.
Godzilla skull.
Half Godzilla, half Kong. Be a good look for it.
I'm sure it's out there.
All right. Goodbye, everyone.
So then, when I was there, the
took your dick
Ghostbusters. No, I didn't do that. My son was there.
Doesn't busting make you feel good?
Not when my son is there, because that caused him.
Bustin'.
Makes me feel good. We're done.